Photo is called an Indian paintbrush, and if you follow the blog for enough time, you might have seen other photos like this. These are really pretty flowers, and they're all over the place in Oklahoma in spring and summer. You see them just all over the side of the highways and fields. Like it's not like a rare special flower per se, but it's a really cool flower to take pictures of. And my neighbor has a field, and I think I might have mentioned it here on the blog before, where he kind of lets it grow every spring. He owns 2 acres, and he lets most of 1 acre just go left to its own devices because these wildflowers grow, and that's where this is taken. My neighbor had this his field, and it was had all these flowers in it. And I even asked him, I said, do you mind if I take some pictures in your field? And I had taken a few in years past, but I just want to be cool, make sure we're on the up and up. And he said, yeah, that's fine. So I went over, and I spent probably 15 minutes literally crawling around on my hands and knees in his field, taking pictures of these flowers. Now, the reason I like this one, a couple things. Number one, the lighting. I purposely got this backlit, and I took a lot of different pictures when I went out to shoot this one, but I liked that this particular one was backlit, and it's a neat effect to pull off. Anyone can do front lighting, but sometimes it can be tricky to do good backlighting, and that's what I was able to pull off here because of the angle of the sun and all that. And so the borders, like all these little fuzzy fringes of the flower, are really nice and sharp, and I really like that. Also, the background. There's a tree in the background, and this is a trick I learned on a photo. It's a couple months ago I posted. It's a dandelion, and when I shot that dandelion picture, I intentionally positioned myself so that the dandelion would be in front of this tree way in the background, and it brought out the brightness of the dandelion to be against a dark background. That's what I did here. I intentionally positioned myself so that this tree in the background would bring out the colors in the flower. So without that, you would just have this red and these bright fringes around the flower competing with the rest of the background. But because it's a dark background, I was able to overcome that. And in the result, get a pretty interesting photo. I actually shot this with my D7100. So in 2020, that camera is now 7 years old. But guess what? It's still a great camera. This is shot at ISO 140. When you get past like 3200, that camera starts to break down. But my goodness, this camera still produces outstanding results, especially if you keep the ISO relatively low and get good lighting like you see here. So as I've mentioned over the course of particularly this past year, it is fun to use some of the older stuff, the older gear, and just take it out for a spin and realize what made it so good to begin with.